God speak to us in unique ways to prepare our hearts for things to come? Joshua Fund founder and chairman Joel C. Rosenberg invites local Israeli pastor Wayne Hilsden to share his experience as he serves in Israel.
I did sense that it would be good to come together and just get some of your observations, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what God is stirring on your heart.
I just got finished saying, we shouldn't be over the top about things, but I'm going to tell you something that happened to me. A month before we dedicated this place, and it was in 2004, we were about to have a choir come to do Handel's Messiah here at our dedication. And we were going to put them up in a hotel on the other side of the city. And I thought, let's save some money and try to just get them in a hotel it's a close enough walk so we don't have to rent a bus and so on. So I was at this hotel, and it happened to be Simchat Torah, which is the end of the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Jewish rabbis and others dance with the Torah scrolls. And Simchat Torah means the joy of the Torah, the joy of the law. And I was excited. I was talking to the lady that markets the hotel, and she said, tell me about your dedication. I'd like to come. And I said, well, you may not want to, because the worship leader is actually a Messianic Jew. And she said, well, what's his name? I said, Paul Wilbur. And she began to sing, "These are the days of Elijah." This is an ultra-Orthodox woman, okay? Doesn't know Yeshua, but some tourist at her hotel had given her an album of this Jewish worship leader, and she was so excited. She said, "Can I meet Paul Wilbur at the dedication?" I said, "You sure can. Just come." Anyway, make a long story short, I decided I'm going to time the walk from that hotel where we were going to put the choir to the pavilion where you're sitting tonight. And I looked at my watch, and I was going to time it. I noticed my watch had stopped. That was upsetting. So I shook my wrist like this, and the watch suddenly started, but now the second hand is moving 4 seconds at a time. And I thought, that's strange. And I asked the Lord, and I'm not a flake most of the time. And I just said, "Lord, are you trying to say something?" And in my spirit, the Lord said this. I didn't hear an audible voice. "Just as you looked at your watch and the watch had stopped, so I'm bringing one era to an end. Just as you shook your wrist and the watch started again, so I will shake everything that can be shaken. And just as your second hand sped up 4 seconds at a time, so this last short period of time will be as if time sped up. There'll be a compressing of events. It'll be like a woman at the end of her pregnancy and about to give birth. There'll be an intensification of these things, and the shakings will happen at a more rapid pace. I get back to my office, and I show all our staff my watch, because I was going to tell them what happened, but I wanted to make sure they saw it was still going like this. It was sped up. And I remembered as I got back to my office that morning, my wife, Ann, who's with us tonight, said, in the morning, she said, "My watch stopped." I called her on the phone. I said, "Wayne, Ann, you said this morning your watch stopped. What time did it stop?" And she looked at her watch. It was 12 o'clock. I hadn't noticed what time my watch had stopped. It was 11:45. And I felt the Lord say, it's as if there's 15 minutes left on the clock. The time is very short. Our associate pastor comes into my office. He says, "Wayne, you realize what day this is?" And I said, "Yeah, it's Simchat Torah." He said, "Well, you know that the cycle of readings in the Torah begin and end on Simchat Torah." So that day, you're about to start now reading the cycle of readings at Genesis 1:1, in the beginning. And it's the last day of the reading at the end of Deuteronomy. And again, reminding me of what the Lord, I believe, said to me, that one era is coming to an end, another is beginning.
Subscribe to our videos by clicking the subscribe button. You'll find some videos that we've chosen specifically for you. And if this is a ministry that you'd like to support financially, just make a tax-deductible donation by clicking here to visit our giving page. Thank you. We look forward to partnering with you to bless Israel and her neighbors in the name of Jesus.